Hey guys, Carter here with Patriot Training Center. Today I'm going to show you how I zero a rifle at 50 yards the easy way. So first thing I do is I start off at 7 yards and I adjust for my windage. So right here I'm going to shoot a refined point on the target, and I should be below where I'm aiming because I'm going to be at 7 yards. But if I have any egregious windage adjustments, that's from left to right, then I'm going to need to address those. The reason that I do it up close is to make sure that I'm on paper, so I'm not just at my zero distance and just lobbing rounds down range. So I'm going to shoot 3 shots at one of the targets over here, see where I'm at 7 yards, adjust for my windage. If I'm close enough on my elevation, then I'm just going to leave that the way it is and back up to the 50-yard line and then shoot it and refine it from there. So that's the way I'm going to do that. I'm going to shoot 3 rounds and we'll see where I'm at. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so I look like I'm pretty far to the right over here. This is actually not that terrible as far as my elevation goes. I might have to bring it up just a tad bit, but I was actually aiming right at this refined point. I do that a lot when I'm zeroing, as I find like a point in the target, because this gets really busy in here. So if I take the edge of the red dot and put it on this diamond, like the top of the diamond, I like to have a refined point of aim. That way I can get really precise on having the exact spot that I'm putting my dot every time. So looks like I'm to the right, so I'm gonna need to go over quite a bit. So I'm gonna go a few clicks to the right. Now keep in mind, when you're at 7 yards like this, if you back this out to 50 yards, it's gonna be way out here, maybe even off the paper. So even just like this little, you know, it's about an inch right here to the right. Back at 50 yards, that's going to be really bad. So we're going to start right here, make our rough adjustments, and then fine tune. Okay, so I shot my last group. I didn't like what I saw, so I reshot it. I'm going to go to a new target, and that way I'm gonna move to the top left still, but I'm going to aim at one of the other actual targets. So we'll see where I'm at. Okay, so here's my aim right here. I was aiming at the top of the square, and I put 2 rounds pretty much on the line. Everything's looking good now. That's pretty close for where I want. A good 3 inches. The way I look at it, I hold over at these shorter distances at 7 yards. It obviously depends on the height of your optic, but usually I like to think of either 3 fingers or another good reference point that I learned was look at the forehead wrinkles, and then that's going to put you right in between the eyes. So if you're looking to take a headshot or something like that, yeah, forehead wrinkles, and then you know, you'll get into that occipital window. So I'm going to go ahead and back this up to 50 yards, choose a different target, one of these, and then shoot it again, and we'll see where I'm at 50. This from the prone position. I can get the most stable in prone out of the positions, excluding bench rest, but I don't like to shoot bench rest when I'm zeroing a fighting rifle. I want it in a realistic position that I'm going to be in. Prone is a good position that I like to get really stable. I'm going to add my shooting bag right here as well. Some people don't like to do that. I like it because it gives me just a little bit of extra stabilization, making sure that I'm not putting too much input into the rifle, meaning I'm not making it move all over the place. We're getting it as stable as possible so we can get good data for our zero. So I'm going to shoot a 3-shot group, see where I'm at, and make adjustments. If you're not getting anything from that 3-shot group, it is a good idea to shoot 5. But if you're trying to like do it on a budget and not, you know, shoot all the ammo and trying to conserve, then 3-shot group is good. You just want to make sure when you confirm your zero that you do a 5-shot group to double check and make sure you're all good. So I'm going to shoot this 3-shot group and see where we're at 50 yards. Okay, so let's take a look. One of the sucky things about the red dot is you're not magnified. So I like to keep a pair of binoculars or maybe a spotting scope if you're doing longer distances to just save you time running back down to the target. I can see it from here, and I'll be able to make my adjustments. Okay, so here's my group. I was shooting this target, so it's not crazy far off, but I can get better than that. So it looks like I am high and to the right. So maybe I'm just gonna go a few clicks down. We're probably, 2 inches down. So I'm gonna go ahead and go a few clicks down and a few clicks left and see where we're at. I'm gonna shoot the same target. So we'll wanna make sure that we mark these or make sure that we know that these are there. So I make my adjustments. We're hopefully gonna see them in there now. So I'm gonna make an adjustment on here and we'll see, I'll show you how I do it. So I'm gonna need to go to the left and down. So this has an arrow right here pointing and an R. So the arrow is saying I turn it this way to go right and I need to go left. So I'm gonna go 4 clicks to the left. So the way I would do that, you can use a tool, but also you can use a 5.56 case like this and just 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm also gonna make an adjustment down. As you can see here, this says up with an arrow. So I'm gonna go the opposite of the arrow. And I'm gonna go 3 clicks down. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'm gonna go verify and see where I'm at. That one might have been a little low. We'll see. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so I made those adjustments and this was my group. It was, I called this one. I felt myself push it low. But just to be sure, I'm gonna shoot 2 more in this now that I think I'm pretty close to dialed in, just to rule out and make sure that I don't need to make any more adjustments. So I'm gonna go shoot 2 more rounds into the same spot and see where I end up, and then we'll call it from there. Also might have been low. Really not seeing which ones I'm pushing low and which ones are good. I'm gonna move to a new target and shoot a 5-shot group, and we're gonna just clean it up and see where I'm at, because I think I'm close to zeroed, but I just wanna double check. So I'm gonna shoot a clean target with a 5-shot group. I felt these 2. I totally shanked these, which, I mean, it's still in the fist size group, and I'm using a red dot at 50 yards, but I like to be super tight in here at under an inch, but that's where we landed. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this zeroed because I'm all in here exactly where I'm aiming, and my dot is pretty, I mean, it's covering a lot of this, and so I'm pretty happy with this as a combat 0. The biggest thing with a 0 though is that's where your point of aim, point of impact is going to match at this distance. The biggest thing with zeroing is you need to know, it doesn't matter which 0 you pick, you need to know where your gun is gonna hit at different distances. So you need to verify, what is my gun doing at 7 yards? What is it doing at 10 yards? What is it doing at 25? all the way out to however long you are going to use it for. So here I shoot out to 400 yards or so. So I need to know where my gun's hitting at all those distances. So it doesn't really matter which zero you pick, as long as you know exactly where your gun is hitting at all those distances. The 50, and it's called the 50 and 200 yard zero. At 50 yards, it's roughly about the same point of impact at 200 yards. It's actually technically in meters, so there's a little bit of difference there. It's not exactly 50 yards and exactly 200 yards. It's a little bit different, but it's pretty roughly close. So my middle hold at 50 yards is also going to be my middle hold at 200 yards. Now, in that mid-range of 100 yards, I'm actually going to have to hold under, but I really like it because it's still center of mass pretty much everything out to 300 yards. I really like it. It's a good zero. Okay, so now that I've zeroed at 50 yards, I'm going to just do a confirmation at 200. Obviously, like I was saying earlier, you're going to want to verify your zero at different distances, but I have a piece of C-zone still out there at 200 yards, so I'm going to pop a couple off with the red dot and see if I'm plinking it or not. Should be getting good middle of the center of mass hits, so we'll see where I'm at. Let me know what you guys zero in the comments, and if you have any questions about this, I hope to see you training here at Patriot Training Center. I'll catch you guys in the next one.